Davis, Simon Dennis, Lewis Attrill, Luca Gruber, Kieran West, Fred Scarlett, Steve Trapmore and Cox Rowley Douglas.
And our super heavyweight boxing champion, Audley Harrison.
Last but certainly not least, who will forget the amazing achievements of Britain's Cox List 4? Please welcome James Cracknell. Tim Foster. Triple gold medalist Matthew Pinsent. And 5 times Olympic gold champion Steve Redgrave.
Technique, stay strong.
The British girls are pushing again, challenging, pushing hard on Russia in lane 3. It could be silver. It's silver on the line. We're pushing on. There's Hunt Davis. Now there's Dennis. There's Attrill, Gruber, Kieran West. Boys in the stern. Winding it up now. The Australians are coming back. It's 50 metres to the line, but we're going to do it. We're going to hold on.
Yes, we've done it.
Go boys, go boys. Here come the Australians, but it is gold. Gold for Great Britain. Olympic champions.
And our gold medal winning 8 are back together again. Luca Gruber, how much have you all seen of each other since that triumphant day?
Well, actually, I think tonight's the first time we've all been together in one place after the final. Ben's been away on a honeymoon and we've been all over the place. So
I suppose in the build-up to the race, you all got sick of the sight of each other.
I wouldn't say that, no. We had to learn to live with each other, we had to learn to sort of get the best out of each other. So, but it was good to release the tension and sort of go our own way after the final a little bit, definitely.
And Rowley Douglas, the Cox alongside you there, where did the inspiration from this crew come from? What a special day and a special performance.
I knew I'd get asked a hard question. It was the Australians beating us certainly helped, I think, in the first round, and there was quite a lot of pent-up aggression on Wednesday, and we just made sure that we kept on putting things in a little box and opened that up on the day of the final and let it all out.
And your own approach, was yours the Gary Herbert kind of approach? He didn't commentate the race, he coxed it, didn't he?
He did, yeah, he did a pretty good job. I won't say exactly what I said to Gary, happens to me every time I watch the race, but I do get excited.
It's nice to see you all back together again. Our gold medal winning 8 and other Olympic champions. Well, as we near the climax of this evening's programme, we look back on one of those events that will always send a tingle down the spine. For years to come, people will ask, where were you, what were you doing when the Cox List 4 helped Steve Redgrave win gold medal number 5? The race took place well past midnight UK time, but it still seemed that the whole country was watching, even the royal family.
I was travelling back from London. It was in the early hours of the morning when I got into Liverpool, where I live. I had these cases, and I'm walking into the flats where I live, and the security guy run out of his little hut, and he just shouted, "He got the gold!" And I knew exactly where we went, and we both put our arms in the air, but yes, yes!
It was a television event of the year in our house. I mean, it was just sat there, me and the missus, and I watched it like I used to watch horror films when I was a kid. That's from behind the settee.
We were sitting in bed with the crew up to there, and I was like, come on, it's coming on in a minute.
Well, are you sitting comfortably? You won't be when this race starts.
You know, I almost don't want to watch. You know, when you get that much behind somebody that you don't want to watch because you want them to win.
You could see the anxiety and the pain and the fear, and you know.
United States, Slovenia, Great Britain.
Everything's on this one race, not just his reputation and his ambition, but our dreams and our reputation too, in a sense.
Attention.
I'm not a good watcher of sports. I think when I'm competing and when I have an element of control over what I'm trying to do, then you don't get quite so nervous. But watching other things, and then especially this, the magnitude of it, I was an absolute nervous wreck.
I've never been in a boat and stuff like that, but I felt as though I was rowing with them. I really, really was. I was in there and I was pulling with them, I was panicking with them, I was sweating with them, I was hoping, I was praying with them.
I'm glad nobody saw me. I was sort of jumping around like a 10-year-old.
It must have been so scary in that boat.
It was theatrical. It was extraordinary.
They're always, you know, just in front and keeping their nose in front, and then you think one of the other teams is going to make a surge.
I kept getting confused a little bit because 1 minute they're ahead and then the boat's going. I'm thinking, come on, get on.
That awful moment, I thought I was going to have a heart attack, that last 5 yards when that other crew came back at him.
The roar from the Italians, but there's a bigger roar from the British crowd.
Yeah, they were catching him. I think they were catching him, but I was biting my teeth and fingers crossed for him.
Matthew's responding, where's the next gear? Up you go, Matthew, we want this 5th gold medal for Steve, up we go again.
See, like, the aggression in the faces and how they went about it.
Hold on, boys, the Italians are coming strong, we're up to the line, it's 50 metres, can we hold it? Watch out for Italy, Great Britain on the line, here we go, just Great Britain gets the gold medal, and relief all round.
And then when they pulled it off, it was wonderful, and I knew the results. I knew the results, and yet I still had all that fear. God only knows what would have happened if I'd have seen it live. I probably would have passed out.
They just buried their heads, you know, it's just like, we have done it, you know, thank God.
The other 3 just all hugged him, but I bet they were more pleased for him than they actually were for themselves, for him to get 5.
5 goals. I really still can't believe it.
And what is so amazing that, you know, not only did Stephen win 5 gold medals, but you've got Matthew, who's only 30 and won 3.
I mean, Ali wasn't about boxing. George Best wasn't about football. They're about something else. They take their sport, and Redgrave did this, and they give it a different dimension, and they perform on a different stage to other people.
And what I actually done, I actually looked up the meaning of the word Olympian in the dictionary, and I think it sums this guy up in one. An Olympian is a person of great attainments and superhuman calm and detachment, and that's him, that sums the guy up.
Please welcome Steve Redgrave and the Coxless 4. Steve, you now know what the British public went through on your behalf, and it was tough. When you came off the water, I asked you almost immediately whether you had a sense of the history of what you'd achieved. Maybe it was a little bit early to pose that question. Maybe tonight is the right time. It's been an extraordinary 2 months when that must have really been brought home to you.
It's been an incredible 2 months. It's, the build-up to the Games was very much the same pattern as we've done to previous Games. And we obviously enjoyed the experience. There was a lot of people there that enjoyed the experience. But then coming home and all the standing ovations we've been getting and the people saying tonight of what they were doing on the night has just made it even more special. And I don't think it has sunken in yet to what we did on that particular day for the British public.
The other thing that you said when you came off the water was that you'd won it comfortably. Now, have you changed your opinion about that as well?
Now I've seen the video in complete, but it does get a little bit tight at the end. But the way that I was thinking through the whole of the race, that in my mind it was never in doubt, and quite a lot of people that know quite a lot about the sport as well thought that as well. But I see the video and I think
a bit touch and go.
It's a bit close.
Yeah. Now, James Cracknell, you were in the bow seat, so you perhaps had the best view of the way the opposition were coming at you. How worried were you?
I kept saying, Italy, Italy, Italy. Steve said after the race that 200 metres you were going to win, and I agreed with him at 200 and 1,000, but at 1,900 I was like, oh, it's getting pretty close. But...
And physically, what were you feeling then?
I felt pretty good. I was surprised the other lads looked tired. I felt... I was thinking every time in the last 200 metres, I was thinking, OK, Italy are going to die now, we're going to go. Because I felt really good, but they had a good row and got pretty close.
You, of course, had a tough experience in Atlanta, but this really lived up to the expectation of what winning an Olympic gold is all about.
Yeah, Atlanta was horrible, having tonsillitis and just having to lie in a room listening to the American national anthem next to the swimming pool for 4 days. And I was just, there's no way I want to go through and stand on the podium and hear anything other than our anthem. And it would be a disaster to hear Italy's anthem, or even worse, Australia's out there. Yeah. And luckily it was ours.
And Tim, maybe your Atlanta experience didn't fully live up to expectations, but looking back on this particular race, technically, how good were you?
I think technically we were the best in the world, and that was what counted when it comes down to it. Physically, a lot of the crews are much for muchness, but when it came to it, our technique was what held us through and got us over the line first.
But how much was technique and how much was spirit on the day?
I think there was a lot of spirit going in. I mean, something we talked about the night before was how much this had meant to us, how much we'd gone through. And when it came down to it, when the Italians were coming or when the Aussies were looking good, that gold medal meant that bit more to us, I think.
Now, the future for you, a few question marks over the back. What's the situation now?
I've had the scan. Don't know the results yet, but I'd love to carry on. I'd love to do the same thing again in 4 years' time. The only thing I have to be careful of is make sure I've got a future that means I can stand up afterwards. Olympic gold medals are good, but they're not that good.
Now, Matthew Pinsent, only 3 gold medals, so you're certainly not finished. Or are you? You're being a little bit coy about the future.
Well, when I joined the rowing team 10 years ago, everyone looked at the age of 30 as like a kind of watershed. That would be the age when you definitely think about retiring and definitely getting past it. And then this guy's now come and raised the bar for us all. So now people are saying to me, oh, you know, you're going to beat his record, and 30's not old. And I mean, I'm going to carry on sitting on the fence, but it's just such a big thing to take on. A 4-year period. I mean, those people who watched Gold Fever saw some of what we went through. Yeah. And on a day-to-day basis, it's a hard graft and it's a hard grind. At the end of the day, if you win, it's worth it. But it's not something I can just jump out of bed one morning and say, right, I'm going to do 4 years of training and off I go.
Yeah. It is so tough. I mean, back home, 2 hours before the race, they were deciding whether it's going to be another cold beer or a glass of wine or whatever. 2 hours before the race for you, what was it like?
Horrific, I think, for all of us. I think, you know, we very much were together in a tent, but then people would go out the door and then come back 5 minutes later, and, you know, Steve was up and down, James was listening to his personal stereo, Tim, I think, was having back stretches done on him, and I was in and out of the tent as well. It was only like 3 weeks later that Steve told me he was going out for a quick cry. But it's you know, the emotion and the pressure that you're under at that stage is immense, and we were always talking about before the event that the pressure was going to push us together rather than split us apart, and that's what held us together all the way through the race, all the way through the Olympic campaign.
You are going to miss all that, aren't you, Steve? How close were you, though, to making the decision to carry on?
Not close at all. I was pretty convinced that I was going to stop a long time before. The statement I made 4 years before, that if I'd made any statements to the Olympics at all, it wasn't going to be believed. I think there's still a few people that don't believe that I've retired now.
Well, we've got a couple of awards left to make tonight. Let's make the first of them right now.
Well, behind every success story, there is always someone driving them on, pushing them beyond the limit. The winner of this award has done just that, notably guiding Stephen and the Coxless 4 crew to Olympic gold. Ladies and gentlemen, the coach of the year is Jürgen Grobler.
Thank you, man.
Jürgen Grobler, Steve has just said special award for a special man, and indeed it's been a very special triumph. You've had some great raw material though, haven't you?
Yeah, no, I had great athletes, and I think it's great to be together for 10 years with so outstanding athlete and be part of his big success, and big success for everybody in the world. I think it's not just GB's hero, it's everybody's hero, and I think that's great to be part of that.
You have played a huge part in this success. Ladies and gentlemen, the Coach of the Year, Jürgen Grobler, and our Cox Fist 4. And in first place, and BBC Sports Personality of the Year, the greatest Olympian of all, Steve Redgrave.
Congratulations. Well done. Fantastic. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you very much for that. When I was 10, I had a dream to be Olympic champion, and that dream came about by a man called Mark Spitz. And I watched him in the swimming pool, winning 7 gold medals at that Olympics. And I thought, I fancy some of that. And from that time, I felt that I wanted to win an Olympic gold medal. In '84, that dream came true for me. And I came to the Sports Review that year, and something else caught my eye. I thought, I'd quite fancy one of those. 16 years I've been coming here. 6 times been shortlisted. I had to hint this time that I was going to retire. No, I've definitely retired. It's a very fitting end, I think, to my international career, and being here tonight is very special and a very special year. But there's 4 people that I'd like to mention. For these type of things, everyone has to mention somebody that's helped them along the ways. And 3 of them are coaches. The first one has got the award tonight, Jürgen Grobler, the Coach of the Year. For the last 10 years, he's made the talent that I've had much more consistent, and winning 7 World Championships and 3 Olympic Games is really due down to him. The guy before him was a guy called Mike Spracklin. He took me from a promising junior to winning 2 Olympic gold medals and 2 World Championships and 3 Commonwealth Games golds. And then probably the specialist one out of all them is a guy called Francis Smith, who, if he didn't come to me at school, he was the head of the English department at that school that I went to, and said, do you fancy giving rowing a go? And I thought, going out on the river during school time, I'll have some of that. If it wasn't for his foresight of asking me to give the sport a go, I would have never achieved anything within rowing, because I would never have found the sport. So I owe a lot to him. I rowed with 10 people to achieve the medals at the World, Olympic and Commonwealth Games. I'd like to mention all of them, but I'm only going to pick out one, and that's the one that I've rowed with for the last 10 years. There's somebody that's won 3 Olympic gold medals consecutively. An outstanding athlete in his own right, but for the last 10 years has been overshadowed by one other. And each time we're put in front of the TV, it's always mentioned and his outstanding achievements have always been overlooked. Now he's got the opportunity to carry on and be more successful than maybe I have so far in the sport. He's only 2 World Championships away from equaling my World Championship tally. I'm sure he'll do that in the next 4 years. But it's the dignity that he's done with that, is that he's never been jealous, he's always been very supportive, and it's been a pleasure of rowing with Matthew Pinsent for the last 10 years. Sydney was a very special Olympics for many reasons. But one of the strongest memories I'll have is the bond and the friendship of all the athletes that were competing there. And I think that really shone through to British sport and also to the British public. I think 11 gold medals is a pretty good tally. I think we can still do better than that. In 4 years' time, I won't be there, but there's a lot of people that will be winning a lot of gold medals for our country. And I'm convinced of that. It gave our country great honour for those 2 weeks and the celebrations that have happened since we returned. And I know a few of them will be retiring, a few will be carrying on. There'll be a few more coming through, and I wish them all their success in their sporting careers. I'd like to thank the BBC for all the years of supporting rowing, through all the different types of rowing there is, through the boat race, to international regattas, to the World Cups, the World Championships, and of course the Olympic Games. And now also the super sprints, which I'm an organiser of. That without the support of the BBC, rowing would never get the profile that it has. It's over the Olympic years of the sport, we've won 21 gold medals. And in recent years, that the BBC coverage has really given us the chance to shine and show our sport to other people. There's more and more people coming into the sport all the time. So I thank the BBC for that. But most of all, I've got to thank the British public. The British public have been fantastic through me, through the whole of my career. And for putting pen to paper, or getting on the telephone, or even the internet nowadays, or those old things called faxes, and actually voting for me, I'm very pleased and very honoured to share this moment with you. Because yes, we try and compete to win for ourselves, our country, but we're competing for everybody else in the country. There are other athletes who will surely be standing here in a few years' time, if not next year. But I'm just very honoured to be standing here this year for this very short moment at my last time at the BBC Sports Review of the Year. Thank you.
The BBC Sports Personality of the Year is Steve Redgrave. From us all here at Television Centre, it's good night.